Hey, it's Corbellic at Corbellic Art Studios. I'm here to talk about what I would do different in my journey of selling 17,000 original pieces of art just on eBay alone. What would I do different? What would I tell myself? I think that's really why I started this YouTube channel. And I know that's why I started the community. I wanted people to come together and be able to just go outside the gallery, be able to have a community where there's no judgment, there's no ways of how to do art. There is no right or wrong way to do art. There's just only right ways and wrong ways to make money. And that's what it's all about. And we are conditioned to be humbled so long that we're trying to humble ourselves and be broke. But there's no morality in being broke. There's nothing moral about being poor and not making any income for what you're doing. So the things that I would do different, one is that I would order canvases in bulk. That's one of the things that I would do different. I wish that I ordered canvases in bulk instead of going to Hobby Lobby, driving there, or Michael's and always driving there and buying, pieces at a time where they only come in either sets of 7 or 8 or anything like that. I would just order it online in bulk so that way I could have a whole box where usually it comes in either 26 to 28 canvases, and you save so much money. But there's also a format of how you could order, so that way you have an account with them, you have a business account, and then you save money that way. So if you want to learn more about how you can do that, you can also join the free eBay art community, and I break all of that stuff down. I have a whole supply list. I have everything for you of how you can do that. But also when it comes to supplies, just talking about it, I would also get Liquid paint. Instead of, like, when I first started off, I was coming from doing these gallery pieces, or which I'm supposed to be doing in these larger pieces, and I was using golden paint. Golden paint is some of the best acrylic that you could get out there, if not the best acrylic that you could get out there. But after having so much of it, that stuff is expensive. I mean, it adds up and it adds into your profit. And the thing that sucks is, if you're making these great pieces of art, you know how bad it is where you have to buy this paint in these colors, but yet you're not selling your artwork. Another thing that I would do different when it comes to paint is I would focus on getting solid colors, the primary colors, and just mixing other colors myself. When I was starting off, I was doing like amateur stuff where I was buying different exotic colors, different tubes of it. Ooh, this one looks like a good one. I want to use this one day. And then I would have a palette where it would be just all these different exotic colors in there that's just ridiculous. You don't need, and you just spent money. Art companies, they love when amateurs or new people come in to do art because you buy these colors that you don't need. You just need your primary colors, and you can mix it yourself while you're on your paint palette. Or what I also do, for example, if I need pink, I'll just take a little bit of red, and then I'll put my white in there. I get my white in a big jug, a half gallon, from Blick's art store. And it's a great white. They also have a really good black. So I get my half gallons from there, and that saves me money. You can get a half gallon from there for like 20 bucks. So it goes a long way. It's very strong. Sometimes you'll get a black from, I wouldn't get a black from like a Liquid or something like that, because then it's transparent. Like you would have to put multiple layers. But surprisingly, Blix has a really good black that you could get for $20. So just do that, and you would save so much money from that. But also, when it comes to other colors for acrylics, I like Liquitex that comes in the tube, and I also like Master's Touch that you could get from Hobby Lobby. So those are great things that you could do too. And Hobby Lobby, they always have a sale every other week, which is like 40% off. So why wouldn't you go there? It's a great business, and that's what I would do different. Another thing that I would do different is I wish that I could go back in time and I would build this community. If I built this community, then it wouldn't feel like a lot of times that I'm doing this alone. That's the thing that people really don't talk about being an artist, is you have moments of solitude that a lot of these things you're processing alone in your mind, because people who aren't artists, they don't understand what you're going through, where you have to go through this journey, and it's a psychological exercise as well, and they don't know, what we have to go through, especially if you're a starving artist. If you're a starving artist, I mean, if you're not strong minded, you could go through a nervous breakdown. I know I've had some real lows before I got into eBay, because I was making these great pieces of art. I was really busting my butt behind in making these great videos, the process videos. I was doing all the steps. I had a big gathering of people, like 10,000 followers on Instagram. I had people who I thought was my community there, but they weren't. They were just people who were clicking free likes, but the conversion rate was less than 1%. There was rare that people ever bought any art from me. So I wish that I could go back when I started doing eBay, and I started my community then. So that way I would have where we're doing this together. There's no judgment, but also that I would show my process of how I'm doing the projector. I wish I could go back and just show how I do the projector. That's one of the reasons why I stopped doing social media. And I didn't get off of there because of, I got off of social media because I got tired of playing the game. I remember one of my last posts, I said that it was the death of digital narcissism or something like that, right? And I was I was just tired of I knew that phase was over with. There was a golden age of art that was in 2017 to 2019. That was the golden age of art on Instagram. After that, it died off and it became something else. And it didn't add up to the time. So, here I'm in the house and I'm having artwork. You know what I'm talking about? Any artist that's also out there, where I would have artwork that was stacked up. Like, it looked like a storage facility then. And it's embarrassing because my family's looking at it like, you know, they want to be supportive. You know what I mean? Like, they're supportive. They don't want to sound like they're not supportive. But at the same time, it's like, is this a hobby? Like, if it's a hobby, because you're not making money from it. And I remember when I made my first sale, which was like a 24 by 36 inch canvas. And it sold for, back then, it was only $1,000. And I don't mean to say only, but I just remember at that time it was $1,000, and I was so happy because I needed that $1,000. Like, I've been putting in so much work. I just remember I was so happy that $1,000 was helping me pay bills and at least seem like somewhat I was an artist, like it was justified. But that feeling that I got off of that, I'm sharing the wealth that you can have this feeling every day when it comes to eBay, instead of waiting for these moments to come by. And if I had a community where I was sharing this, it would have came back to me. So that's another reason I didn't plan on doing this. I didn't plan on doing eBay. I didn't plan on really doing my community until I just heard from God saying to give back, and then you'll feel happier. Because after a while, just making the money after and then making art, it becomes kind of redundant, where if you're not doing something towards it, you're not giving back, or you're not having a community, then you're just doing it alone. And what's the purpose of that, right? That's boring. So that's why at the first of the year, I had a conversation with God. I prayed on it, and he told me, just let it go, and it's okay. Then that's it. I spent 5 months or so really crafting it out. Even that, even though I'm a loose artist, it still took me time to really craft it out. So that's what I would do different, is I would start a community of like-minded people, and then I would go from there. But another thing that I would do different is I wouldn't pay for each individual kind of custom box. So one of the boxes that I use now when it comes to shipping, I know this is controversial, and a lot of people, they don't like, oh, that you're using the post office box, but we're a partner with the post office. And I even spoke to, like, the postal carriers there, and even some of the directors up in there. It's not a problem because we're eBay. Now, it would be a problem if we weren't if we weren't a partner with eBay and Pitney Bowes. So that was a way to really save money, because I'm able to wrap those up, and then I'm able to charge ground shipping instead of charging so much on a custom box. That's not needed because that eats into your profit. And it's not an issue whatsoever. So it's a you'll never go to post office jail. Okay, there's not going to be a police officer knocking on your door and saying, "Oh, I see that you use this priority box right here. You're going to federal prison." It's not going to happen. No one's going to sue you. No one's going to come after you. There's not a problem. I've shipped thousands upon thousands of boxes this way. So I think it's comical when anytime somebody, they want to be the priority box police. Another thing that I would do different if I could go back is that in my process or in my journey is I would have combined shipping. I didn't have a rule set in place for combined shipping. So I was doing reckless stuff, man. I was doing where paintings, like 3 or 4 paintings, could fit into one box. So what I would do is I would charge people for each box. So for example, my shipping is $14.99, and if someone ordered 4 paintings, I would say 3 could fit into one box. That's $14.99. I would charge them another $14.99 for the second box because that fourth one has to go in there instead of having a rule in there. So every single time they would have to hit me up every night that I have an auction. People would have to send me a message. Hey, can I have an invoice? Can I have an invoice of combined shipping? And then a lot of times you lose customers like that because then it's a guessing game where there's like, all right, I'm bidding on your art, but I don't know what my final invoice is going to be. I don't know what my final price is going to be because it's through you could change it up to whatever it's going to be, and then people don't want to bid that way. So I was losing a lot of customers. I was losing a lot of money like that. But if you join the free eBay, hey, if you join the eBay art community, I'll show you all the process of how you can set up the combined shipping rule in there so you don't have to deal with sending out any invoices, combined invoices. The system will automatically do it for you, but it will also add some padding in there so that you'll be able to make additional money on each packaging. So that way you're able to protect yourself if you do get more paintings on there. You're not losing any money, but you're also not losing a customer, and you don't have to deal with the communication part. It's automated. I have everything streamlined and automated for you. I didn't have an automated service before. So that's one of the things I was losing money on was the shipping. Also, we get free material. So people say, "Oh, what's the point of getting a store membership?" Well, one, when you get a store membership, you get free tape. And that tape adds up. They give you like 24 rolls for free. But also, you get promotions. You also get where you can have 500 eBay auction listings, because that's what I'm showing you anyways. When you're starting off, you're going to be doing 100 to 120 canvases each week. So at the end of it, you're going to need that for the 500. If you don't, then you're going to be charged 15 cents for each listing. 15 cents, that adds up. So I don't understand why people don't cheat yourself and be cheap. Something that I learned years ago, there's an old saying where it's like penny for pound thinking, like don't cheat yourself thinking that it's pennies and then later on it's going to cost you a pound. So don't do that. Just pay for the store membership, but also they're going to promote your store up. So that's not really an issue because I've always had a store, so that way I could take advantage of the full effect of eBay. But those are some of the things right there in my process journey. If I could go back, what I would do different. And those are the things that I would do different to save me time and to save me money. I'm already using the projector, so I would just flow through it. Also, this is another thing that I would do different if I could go back in my journey, is that I would have my 90-minute rule. 90 minutes is not hard at all. I didn't want to set it to be a 60-minute rule, which is just an hour, because I feel like I can still work. I can work when I'm in that hour. But then it's like, okay, an hour and a half is cool. I work for an hour and a half, then I take a 30-minute break. The hour and a half is focused concentration where there's no cell phone, there's no distraction, there's no nothing. I'm working as fast as I can, where each canvas is between 10 to 12 minutes. And I'm doing that with just that 90 minutes. That way, during those 90 minutes, I knocked out as many canvases as possible. And then I'm able to take a break and do it again. If you're able to do that, and let's just say you want to do it full time, you could do 5 sets of that or 4 sets of that. If you have a full time job, then you could do 2 sets of that. Just do it early before you go to work and do it when you come home. Now, think about it. You could have your 20 canvases or so done right there, or at least maybe like 12 to 14. And then you know the only thing you have to do is like 6 more, and then you're done with your 20. But it is possible once you put yourself in that mindset. I wish that's one of the biggest things that I wish that I would have done. And that's the biggest secret that I've been telling you, because I had like a focus problem. I'm a daydreamer, what they used to say when I was a kid. So one of the things that I do is I was like, okay, I can focus on those 90 minutes because it's rewarding for me afterwards where I put the work in. Also, make sure you keep yourself accountable, have a checklist, because your brain plays tricks on itself where your brain's going to say that, yeah, you've been putting the work in, you've been doing whatever, and you haven't. And you won't know it unless you look at your checklist of how many canvases that you got done. So those are things that helped me in my journey of selling 17,000 original pieces of art. If you need help as well in different tactics and inspiration or different tricks that which you can do, join the free eBay art community down below. And yeah, you could just see how you could apply it to yourself. All right, I appreciate it.